luck here? No luck. Okay, well, we'll leave you in your agony for another while and I'll go down here and have a chat with this lot sitting down here. Well, we have a great company on Action Station Saturday this morning. We've lots of magicians, in fact. We have our old friend, I shouldn't say our old friend, our young friend, Gemini.
Thank you, Mary.
And we have two companions with them. We have Donald Bergen and we have Paul Vanetti. Both musicians, I was going to say magicians, or aspiring magicians. Gemini, just before you do some little tricks, I'd like to ask you how you actually started off yourself.
Well, many years ago, my father gave me a book, and it was called Gamblers Don't Gamble. Now, the reason he gave me the book was to remind me not to, take up gambling. But believe it or not, it was my first introduction to the conjuring art.
Right.
So from there, I got interested in it and began to practice. There's a lot of practice involved, at least 2 to 3 years before you would actually, in my opinion, go before the public.
Right.
Yeah. Then, of course, there are magical societies in Ireland. We've got 5.
Really? That many?
Oh, yes. There are 2 in Dublin, and 1 in Belfast, Craigavon, and 1 recently formed, well, when I say recently, within the last, I say 10 years, in Limerick.
Okay, and what do you actually do with these societies?
Well, they get together, they hold an annual convention every year, and, they swap ideas, and they have gala shows, and dealers, people now that they invite, say, from overseas to display conjuring apparatus, which is very costly. I wouldn't advise anybody starting, actually, to buy costly apparatus.
Okay, so it's an expensive
It's
hobby.
very expensive, it really is, yeah.
Okay, Gemini, we'll get started with you doing a trick, and then I'll have a chat with the other two as they get on to doing their trick. So if you do a little trick for us first.
I'd like Mary to show the boys and girls a simple trick using everyday apparatus, nothing special. A little tissue, for example, that you'll find in most restaurants, and just simply tear it up, and roll it into a little ball. You see? Now this is the part where you've got to squeeze it very, very tightly. Now you bring it up into view. Now, when you blow, would you mind blowing, Mary? Thank you. You do that, you see, so as that it'll make the paper will sort of come out easier if somebody blows on it. And you find that you have the little piece of paper completely restored, the little napkin. Now, you cheat a little with this, Mary, because you're actually using 2 pieces of paper. Now, I show you, we'll just put that away for the moment. What you do is this, you see. You prepare the first piece of paper like so. Now, that's before the people...
Before the people come to the
come.
show.
Oh, yeah, you want to make sure. Now, the boys and girls are watching, because this is what you do. Now, you have the little piece of paper like that, you see, in your hand, and you just simply tear up the other piece. Now, when you put it in, you switch. Now, I'll put my hand towards the camera so they'll see the actual thing. You switch it, you see, like this, the torn pieces for the
good one.
For the good one. Now, at this point, it's nice to have a magic wand. You know, the ones that Magella had.
Yes, right.
So
have you got one, have you?
Pardon?
Have you got
I have a magic wand here somewhere, if I can get it out. It's a special one I brought along. I have it for you, yes.
It's well tucked away there, Gemini.
But you have to. Now,
thank
would you wave that, Mary?
Okay. Gemini.
I'm terribly sorry, Mary, but you keep... Very flat. You can wiggle the wand.
Right, okay.
Would you mind wiggling it?
Wiggling, okay.
That's called
I thought Magella was supposed to do this. This is her sort of thing.
Wand. Now, then all you've got to do is simply... Now, remember, you have the torn pieces here.
Can I stop wiggling?
You open up the little tissue. Oh, I think that's enough wiggling. And people at that point will give you a nice round of applause.
That's great. Well, we'll give Gemini a round of applause.
But there's one problem. You've got to make absolute certain that you don't drop the torn pieces on the floor when you're leaving, because people come along, lift them up and say, oh, he had 2 pieces of paper.
Right.
But would you wiggle one more time on the torn piece? Thank you. And, then, if you're a real magician, you'll find that the torn pieces go back in to the thing again. So it's a simple little trick, and I
Okay,
think you
it's
should
very
try
good.
it back home.
Well done, Gemini. Okay, well, you'll have to follow that now, Donal. Could you do a trick there for us?
I could. This actually is one of the oldest tricks in magic. It was called the cups and balls, but it's a little different. There's a rhyme to go with it. You've no doubt seen magicians work the cups and ball effect, and no doubt wondered how it's done. Well, that's what I expect. But watching 3 of each is hard, so this time, just for fun, we'll make it easier for you by using only one. Now, one little ball, one little cup, upon the mat just so. Into the cup and out again, the little ball will go. Now, to my jacket pocket, the ball will disappear. Hey presto, and what do we find? It's now back over here.
Oh.
Again, the ball goes in and out, and to my pocket goes. Hey presto, and it's back again. It's magic, goodness knows. Now, empty hands, an empty cup, and just a little ball. Everything's done by magic, no trickery at all. In and out into my pocket, the routine is quite clear. Yes, it's really in my pocket, and we've nothing over here. Now, if you're watching closely, when I hey presto said, you'd see it leave my pocket and move over here instead. Watch once again, the ball goes here, get ready for the pass. If you didn't see it, you just need a magnifying glass.
Oh.
You've seen it that time, I expect, because now comes a surprise. The ball has now been transformed into one of giant size.
Oh, well done.
Very good.
Excellent, well
You
done.
see, everything I do is magic. For instance, just watch the ball go here. Because when I count 1, 2, 3, that ball will disappear. You might say, what am I going to do now, as I now have nothing at all? But that is where you're wrong, you see, because I've got a ping pong ball.
Oh, well
Very
done.
good.
Terrific, excellent.
Very good.
Okay, Paul, you have to follow those two now.
A funny thing happened to me. The other day when I was doing this trick, I asked someone to split the cards in half. And they literally did, as you can see here. As
Oh,
you
I
can
see,
see, they
they're
split
split,
the cards
yes.
in half. But not to worry, we'll still go ahead. Now, 2 half packs, as you can see, like so. And what we're going to get you to do now is to cut that pack in half. Just get roughly where that's it, okay? And that's right. And we'll use the, no, I'll tell you what, we'll complete the cut. So that you've cut the cards now at a card, okay? And with this, we're going to pick a number. We won't get you to pick another card out of this. And what card will we get to? Let's see. Pick a number between 10 and 20. Any number between 10 and 15, right? So we count 15 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, to make it even difficulter, right? 15 is made up of 2 digits, 5 and 1. And if you add them together, you get
6.
so we'll go back 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we stop at another card, all right? Now, there was 2 ways of picking a card out of each pack, all right? Now, wouldn't it be a miracle if them 2 cards matched my prediction?
Absolutely.
Well, I've got
Complete
my
miracle.
prediction in this box, like so. Now, wouldn't it be a miracle if they matched? And if you'd like to turn over that card there, and you can...
Oh, a 7
Oh.
of spades.
No,
and-
no, hang on.
Oh, no.
See, I'm a magician.
Oh.
But not only that, you see,
Well done.
because even though you picked the King of Hearts out of this pack here, it had a blue back, and it was the only blue back out of this half of the pack. And remember this card you picked, which
Yes,
was the 7?
mhm.
It was the only card with faces on it. The rest are all black.
Oh, excellent. Well done.
Very good.
Well, everything on this show is mystic. That trick was mystic, this studio is mystic, and this is mystic. Get it? Mystic. Oh, forget it. I told you that gag wouldn't work. Join us after the break. They're still in knots. Not only are they in knots, but they managed to get me in knots as well. Anyway, we're getting nowhere here. Let's go over to the next of our Take One magicians. Well, this young lady is Marie Fleming. And where are you from, Marie?
From Williamstown, County Galway.
Williamstown, County Galway. And Marie is an amateur magician who someday will hope to be as good as Gemini and all those others, would you?
Yeah.
Well, let's see how you're doing. Show us a
Okay.
trick.
Magella will think of a card that I have laid out on the table, and she will tell me which row is it in.
Okay? Right, I'm thinking of one. It's in row 3. You're very professional at this, Marie.
Which row is it in now?
It's still in row 3.
Okay, would you like to shuffle the cards, please?
I'll try. I'm not very good at this. There you go.
Thank you. That's your card.
Well done. Indeed it was. Can you do another one?
Yes. As you can see here, I've tied a ring onto a piece of rope. When I put my hand over the ring and say the magic words, the knot will disappear. Action Station Saturday.
Ah, well done. And there's the ring. Good girl.
As you can see, the peg is in the middle hole. And in 2 seconds, with only one of my hand, it will appear in the bottom hole.
Way, well done. Now?
Okay. I have a thimble in my finger. I will place it under my arm, and it will vanish, and then appear under my ear.
That'll be magic. Ah, well done, Marie. I'm afraid that's all we're going to have time for. So thank you very much. I think you're well on the way to becoming a qualified magician. And now it's over to Barry and Mary and lots of other people over there.
Thank you, Magella. All right. Have a look at this. This is not just any ordinary candle. This is, in fact, a Rehab candle of friendship. And I want to tell you a little bit about this. Rehab, instead of holding flag days, are going to hold candle days. And you can have your very own candle of friendship for a minimum donation of £1 to Rehab. We think it's a great cause, so watch out for them, okay? Just £1 will get you that. Coming up to Christmas, I suppose, they're very nice things to have. That's a special candle. Now we've got a magic candle, and Gemini, I think you've got something to do with this, have you?
I have, yes. I'd like to show you, Barry, my magic. It's a friendship candle, but it's slightly different in size, but it's still the friendship candle.
Okay.
And here it is. Now, I think I shall light it to
Okay, okay. In fact, you can light my friendship
yeah.
candle as well.
Oh, there we go.
And my one. Now, do you want me to help you with this trick,
Yes.
Gemini? Right,
me,
well,
I'll hold
I'll
that
give
for
that
you
to
then.
Mary.
Okay, thanks very much.
Okay.
We have a little tube here, you see. Would you mind unscrewing the little...
Unscrewing this.
Yeah,
The
just
top.
it
Pull the
pulls
top.
off.
Okay.
Now, inside, if you poke the little wand in like that,
Okay.
you'll find that there's nothing inside
Nothing in there, no.
the tube. And the candle, this particular candle, is exact fit for the...
Right, for the tube.
So, shall we put it in the...
Okay.
the friendship candle.
Right. Now the candle has gone out at this stage.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Right. Do you need the top as well?
I need the top. Now, would you like to hold it, Mary,
Okay.
in your right hand, and with the little wand in your left hand, if you'd like to say our magic spell, which is Action Station Saturday on
Okay.
the, you know.
Okay, Action Station Saturday.
Thank you. Let's see now.
I presume the candle is still in there somewhere, is it? Or is it?
It isn't.
Oh,
Would you
gosh.
mind pulling that out just to see?
Okay. How many of these? Oh, just one. Oh, there's something written on it as well.
something written on it.
Oh, that's very
And
clever.
we have friendship.
Rehab. Whee!
Hey, well done,
Well done.
Gemini.
Thank you.
That's great. That's excellent.
Is that lovely? Well, at 8 o'clock tonight, if you have one of these Rehab candles, you can light it in a gesture of friendship and support for the work of Rehab. If you haven't got one, you can buy one in the shops. So it's a good cause, something we'd suggest you try. Good idea, good cause. Mary? Okay, over in the coffee bar, our brave volunteers are still tied up. I'm going to try and get them out of their agony, I hope. So stand by, Barry, with the old scissors.
You all right with that candle
Oh
there,
dear,
Mary?
yeah. Wasn't this lovely?
Very Christmassy.
I think actually I will try to undo February and Zena. So we put down our candle here. Now girls, could you move out here a little bit and we'll hold it up. Now you're to watch this carefully. You'll be amazed by this. Personally, I'll be amazed if it works. So anyway, we're going to take this one, right? And we bring it up here. And then we bring it around here. And the girls pull. Hooray! I did it! No round of applause, nothing. Does Mary? I tell you, I'm relieved that worked. Anyway, that's a great game. That's a great game to play at parties. That's a great game to play at parties. You'll be very popular, especially if you can't remember how to get it out. Well, the time now on Action Station Saturday is just 20 to 12. You are watching us here live from Studio 2, and it's time...
Pretend you're fun, that's the way to think. What's
To Action Station Saturday, more Doug Tanyan for you next week. We've just been having a great little chat here. You're probably wondering what it's all about. Well, let me tell you. Some weeks ago, ACRA organised a special competition, and they asked young people to write an essay called Why I Love Dublin, and they wanted them to make some suggestions about how they would improve the city. Now, we brought into the ASS studio some of the essay writers, not necessarily the winners, just some people who we thought had some good ideas in their essays, and we put in the hot seat Mr. Frank Feely, who is the Dublin City Manager, and they're going to fire all sorts of questions at him today. First of all, Mr. City Manager, thank you very much indeed for coming in and giving us some of your very valuable time. And I know there are some interesting topics to be brought up here. We'll start off with February here in front of me. And before we get to your question, February, you're not actually originally from Dublin, sure you're not?
No.
Where did you come from?
I came from County Meath.
From County Meath, and you now live in Dublin.
Yes.
In fact, you live very much in Dublin. You're right in the city centre, aren't you?
Yes.
So, okay, what is it you like or don't like about where you live, and what would you like to say to Mr. Feely?
The thing which I like in Dublin is that on Sundays and on Saturdays you have lots of activities to do, and there's very good schools up there, like the convents and all.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing which I don't like about Dublin is the litter. The litter causes a lot of big problems, like attracting rats and bringing big diseases.
And in fact, February lives near a market as well, Frank, so I suppose
right,
that has
yeah.
its added problems when it comes to litter as well.
And in the most historic part of the city, February lives in Mary's Abbey. Well, you're quite right, it is a big problem, February, and, you know, I'm delighted you raised it, because I hope that all the children who are here and all that are looking in will realise that it's ourselves who caused the litter. There's many things we can find it very hard to do something about, but we put the litter down, and there's, would you believe it, every day there's a half a ton of litter goes on the streets of Dublin. So we've got to educate people to not to do it, not to do it.
I suppose people tend to, when they see litter on the roads, they tend to say, "Isn't it a shame? The corporation should have tidied that up." When in fact,
Yeah.
it's really the people shouldn't have put it there in the first place.
Well, of course, the other thing is that I suppose, but 95% of the people don't put down litter. But the small number who do give a bad reputation to the rest. Mind you, it's improving a lot. It's improving an awful lot. We have a lot of tidy district clubs and school clubs with children and so on. So I think we're making great inroads there.
Right. Okay. Well, Fergus over here has another question for you on a similar type of subject, pollution. What is that, Fergus?
Recently, tests showed that sewage which was being pumped out from the south wall was coming back into Dublin and landing on Dollymount Strand. Now, I was wondering, is there any monitoring of the situation? I believe we should monitor the situation and inform the public of what's happening, because obviously this isn't very good. And would nuclear pollution be coming in? Would this prove that nuclear pollution is coming in from Britain if it's going the same current?
A lot of questions there, Frank.
Well, of course, yeah, and it's monitored. And not only is it monitored by the corporation regularly, but in the past year, some of the newspapers and indeed one of the radio programs have done it on. As a matter of fact, I have the result from the Evening Herald, where they monitored every week over the summer. And the results were a lot better, may I say, than I expected. Now, as far as the sewerage coming back is concerned, I know what you're talking about. What happens basically with the main outfall of sewerage in Dublin is that the heavy matter is taken in a boat and brought way out to sea, and the effluent that goes out carries some residue. And when the wind is in a certain direction, some of that can come back. But we don't regard it as a terribly serious problem, but we do regard it as a problem. And we're all the time monitoring and looking for ways and means of improving the situation.
Fergus obviously regards it as a very big problem, and then he brought up the subject of nuclear pollution as well. Is there any evidence that there is nuclear pollution coming across?
There's a fair bit of radioactivity in the Irish Sea, and last week the corporation in fact ran a seminar at which we invited a lot of eminent people along to talk, and a lot of other important people to listen and see what we could learn. At national level, there is all the time, a case being made to Britain about the nuclear stations to try and discourage more of them, or to protest if there's anything that happens that we're not happy about. Yeah. But it needs to be watched fairly closely. But we have no evidence at the moment at all of anything coming back.
David here actually has a good answer for putting the pollution to good use, I think. David, what's your idea? It's something to do with a swimming pool, is it?
No, my idea was for as part of the Millennium celebrations, to instead of pumping in sewage, to suck out 1,000 gallons of sewage out of Dublin Bay.
Is that feasible, Frank?
Well, you know, in a way, we're doing that. You see, the real thing that contaminated the bay in recent years was the discharges were going directly in. That's where the pipe went straight in and didn't go through a treatment work. Now, we have built a big treatment work that costs £30 million, but there are still small discharges. And you might have seen all the talk about Dunleary last year. That's been taken up, and that is being taken out of the sea and is being brought over in with the main treatment area so that we'll take the heavy stuff out to sea. So what you're saying, in fact, there certainly will be more than 1,000 gallons of sewage that was going in will be brought to a place and treated instead of being put in raw. So what you say is happening. On the Grand Canal docks, your proposal there was?
Yeah, the outer basin of the Grand Canal is lying totally unused.
Yeah.
With a little bit of effort, it could be transformed into a swimming pool complex with things like water slides, which are quite uncommon in Ireland. The ESB stations nearby produce enough excess heat to heat those pools permanently.
It's a very interesting point, and you're absolutely right. It's an underutilised asset of Dublin, as is the River Liffey, in my view. And people are now beginning to realise that that water can be used in some way for the benefit of the city. There was a man yesterday got an award because he's going to put a boat on it, and he's going to take people up to King's Bridge and back by boat. You can pay for it. But the canal docks is, you know, there was an examination carried out very recently by a group, and I'm quite certain that in time something along the lines you say will happen there.
Well, Stoilum go will Castello, Sean, right, lads.
Dúirt mé má aiste faoin na fáibanna a dhéanaan trúliú agus smog san char cothóiríos na fóbháilte. Agus dúirt mé cearcamiocht Leon a church cosc le daoine ag dó Rosley tugs a cánach. Agus dúirt mé go cearca go thugach an rialtas airgid donna daoine seo chun é seo dhéanamh nach naon dochtúlam.
Oh, ein téim leat. Céin fágamín smá gán dúis nuair a bhíon an amsir go chanúr, nuair a bhíon an gaoi go lag, nuair nach bhíon ein gaoi ar bit ann agus an trío an rud atá tusa caint mar dheol ar deatach ó gúil betúmanas a dul san atmosfér. Now, tá na rudaí atá caint agat ag tacht, ach tá siad ag tacht go máil. Agus go dtí an eom nuair a bhíon ordú ar an cathair go léir, but bacór a lán rudaí. And I'd like to actually say this in English for the people who, the mammies and daddies watching who perhaps don't understand Irish as well as Sean does, that we should all remember this. We cause smog. Because by the nature of smog, it is the smoke, the particles that come out of the chimney stopping over your house. So you're causing it yourself. And really, the point I'd like to make is that when there is smog or when it's threatened, anybody who can afford it should not burn coal in an open fire.
Well, Frank, Zelia here has a couple of ideas on how we can do that, how we can reduce the price of coal and perhaps burn something else in its place.
Well, if we reduced if we took the VAT away from the smokeless coal, it would equal the price between the ordinary coal and the smokeless coal. And then if the price of ordinary coal was put up, it may help then people would buy the smokeless coal because it is cheaper. And also we are importing all the coal, most of the coal that we use. So if we encourage turf instead of coal, turf isn't as good as smokeless coal, but it only gives out half the amount of smog that coal gives out. So if we encourage turf, then at least it's getting rid of half the amount of turf.
So what about turf then, Frank?
Well, there's no doubt that turf is much less of a pollutant than bituminous coal. Bituminous coal, by the way, if you burn it in a special type fire, you can reduce the pollutant. But it's dearer simply and solely because it's a manufactured thing. It doesn't come straight out of the ground like the ordinary coal. This is the smokeless coal. Now, the government have, in fact, got the coal companies to reduce the differential a bit, but there's more to go. I know they're looking at the question of the VAT. Whether they'll do it or not, I don't know. As far as turf is concerned, it is less polluting, there's no doubt about it.
It's worth looking into. And Catherine here has a very good idea for you, Frank, if you want to encourage people to burn turf. What is it, Catherine?
In introducing turf, you could start a Mr. Turf campaign, like Firehound, except this would be Mr. Turf, and it would help like children would see it on it, and if it was colourful enough, they'd run to their mum and dad saying, "Can we get that too?"
Well, I mean, here's a future marketing executive now with us. I hope that the Borden and Mona people are watching, because they're spending a lot of money on advertising. It sounds to me of a great idea to encourage.
Mr. Turf campaign, anyway. Frank, you've brought in some goodies for our essay writers, a book and the Millennium Badge, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Some things there on the city.
I did.
hall,
I've one for each of them. We have this little book we got out for the Millennium, and I've got them autographed by the Lord Mayor Ben Briscoe. And I've also got some little bits and pieces about Dublin and a little Millennium Badge, just to show that we appreciate the fact that they wrote such nice essays about Dublin and cared so much about their cities to make suggestions.
And maybe you'll take some of their suggestions on board. And
of course we will.
Certainly some good comments to be made. Right then, more magic, some more music, maybe even magical music. You never know what you get on this programme, do you? We'll be right back with you after the break.
Well, here's a book I want to tell you about very quickly. It's called My Daddy Likes the Dubs, and it's a book of poems by Dublin school children about Dublin, the millennium, etc., etc. You can get it in the library in the ILAC Centre today, and it only costs $1.80. So there's something for you to do for the afternoon. Now, back to more magic and music, as Barry said. Now, inside this box, I've got another box. And inside this box, I've got this week's video. It's Michael Jackson and Smooth Criminal, and it's wrapped around a lot of notices on our bulletin board. Don't believe me, do you? Well, watch this. Abracadabra! Who's cool? Listen, I'm still getting to the end of these boxes. There you go. Back time is 12:20. You're in Bat Studio 2, and you're watching this morning what I must admit is a very batty Action Station Saturday. What could follow after that intro except the dynamic duo? Hello there, nice to see you back after Batman. Okay, now it's for the final Take One magician, and the final is Niall Toland here from Limerick. Niall, what are you going to do for us today?
Okay. First of all, I've here a piece of rope and a tube. I'll tie a knot, and I'll put this end down. Now, could you pull it? Pull.
Okay.
Pull.
Now.
And a knot. Now. I'll tie it again. Put this end down again. Action Stations.
Oh, well done. Terrific.
Here I have a plate and 10 pence. Now, nothing in my hands. Okay, You probably won't believe me when I tell you that there's money floating in the air. Well, I'll prove it to you. See over there, there's a 5p. Could you just grab it?
Okay.
And throw it on.
Yeah.
Now, over there, there's a 2p. Could you
2p.
just do it?
Okay.
And throw it
Yeah.
on? Okay, that's 10, 15, 17. Here I have a powder and make the invisible coins visible. And count out the money. 5, 15, 17.
Ah, well done. Great.
Here I have 3 cups and 3 bowls. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I get the ball. Now, I'm going to make the ball go through the cup. Action stations, and the ball has gone through the cup. I'll try and do it again. Make the ball go through the cup. Action stations, 2 balls. Now, this time I'll try and make the ball go through 2 cups. Action stations, 3 balls.
Oh, terrific. Well done. Okay, Niall, well done. If you'd like to follow me over here, we'll go over and join all the other magicians for a little final chat about all this hobby. And I'll sit down there beside you, Marie. Hello, Gemini.
Hello,
David.
Mary, how are you?
And we have Paul and Donal also gathered on the couch. But I didn't get much of a chance to talk to Paul and Donal, so maybe I'll start with you, Donal. How did you actually get interested in magic yourself?
Well, when I was about 7, my auntie got me a hocus pocus set. So from there, I just progressed myself. So I was never taught. I learned on my own at home.
Yeah. And do you do much now?
I do a lot of birthday parties, and I'm doing some cabaret at the moment.
So you're looking for lots of business, are
Yeah,
you?
lots.
Okay, Paul, what about you? How did you start?
Well, my father was a magician, so he started me into the magic, and I was around 6 and a half when I started, which was a double act with my brother. And we started off really doing cabaret first, and then it was only in the last year or so I started doing children's entertaining.
And do you get many gigs?
A fair few, yeah. They're coming in hot.
Yeah. Is it a difficult hobby? Do you have to practice a lot?
Well, there's 3 things you must remember with magic, and 1 is practice, 2 practice, and 3 practice again. And if you get them 3, you should be okay.
Right. Well, Gemini, you're a professional in the business now. What advice would you give to these young men going into the business as professionals? Because I presume that's what you want to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Be professionals.
As Paul said, it's practice, practice, and when you're finished, more practice. And if I may add, before a mirror,
Right.
you know,
That's the best way to
practice
do it.
before
way
the
as well.
mirror, that you can actually see the, you know, the moves, if you like, that you're doing, so as they'll be deceptive towards the audience then when it comes to an actual live performance, you know.
Has anything ever gone drastically wrong when you were performing?
Oh yes, I remember one occasion I was producing doves, and I had one in my pocket, you see, and the idea was to have a silk handkerchief and, you know, take the dove. So I waved my handkerchief, but the dove made a premature appearance, you see.
Oh, I see.
He poked his head out,
Yeah.
and people began to say, "Oh, look, Gemma, you've got a dove." So well, what could you do? You just take it out and laugh it off. But as a rule now, touch wood, nothing
Those sorts
goes
of things
wrong,
don't happen
you know.
to you. You're too long in the business and too professional at
It
this
could
stage.
still go wrong. It could still.
Yeah. Magic seems to be making a comeback. I heard Gay saying on the radio yesterday that there's supermarkets, magic supermarkets springing up in America where they sell all the equipment and tricks and things like that. Is it difficult, Donal or Paul, there, for you to get hold of the equipment here or the tricks?
Well, they're... Go ahead.
Okay, Donal, you have to answer first.
There's companies all over the world, basically, that you can get props from. It's basically by post. England, America, Canada. And it's in Ireland there is a few dealers in our societies, but the larger companies are abroad.
Okay, yes,
Yeah,
Paul?
now, most of my magic I get is through my father, you see.
Yeah.
But at any conventions, as Donald said, there is a lot of magic brought over from other dealers which you can buy. It's
Right.
expensive hobby, though.
Well, David, you and Niall and Marie, you're not going to conventions yet. You haven't got to that stage. Where do you go and buy your tricks? Now, you live in Cork.
Yes.
Is there a shop nearby you?
No, there's a shop in Limerick.
In Limerick?
Yes.
And is that a good shop?
Yes.
And presumably, since you're from Limerick, you go to the same
Yes.
shop, do you?
Yes.
What about you, Marie? How did you start with magic?
My granny bought me a box of Hocus Pocus and about a month ago, and I've been practicing since.
Practicing ever since.
Yeah.
And you enjoy it, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Niall, how did you start yourself?
Well, about 3 years ago, I got a Hocus Pocus, and I started practicing tricks, and I went to Paul Daniels and a few other shows on the bell table, and I just kind of did a lot of tricks and practiced, bought a few in the shop in Limerick.
Right. And do you admire Paul Daniels?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a
What do you
very-
think of Paul Daniels, Gemini?
He's excellent.
He's excellent.
I met him 4 years ago in Eastbourne. He's very, very good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. And one of the features of Daniels, I think, that he can do large illusions and also can do a very, very good trick using everyday apparatus, you know.
Right.
Like
So he makes it sort of
handkerchief.
accessible to other people, is that
Yes, and that's an advice, if I may, at this point, may I
Mhm.
give to the younger people. Don't go out buying expensive props. Start off with small pieces of apparatus, everyday
Stuff that you have at home.
that they'll see, and it's more deceptive, and I feel the audience appreciates it better.
Okay.
You know.
Well, thank you all for coming in here this morning. It's been great fun chatting to you, and you were all excellent. You did great performances. A credit to you all, and hopefully we'll see you all again soon.
Before I go,
Yeah?
I have a little present I'd like to give to the three. They're little tricks.
Aspiring young magicians.
Yeah, and there's one for you.
Oh.
And one for you.
Thank you.
And there's the instructions are on the back.
Oh dear.
So
Well,
if
thank
you
you very
practice
much, Gemini.
those,
That was
not
very
at
nice
all.
of you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, here's somebody else who has the magic touch. The guy who spots the stars of tomorrow and brings them on Action Station Saturday today. Here's Ronan with today's band.
Thanks, Mary. Indeed, band on stage with me this week. The Harvest Ministers, in fact, were the Carling Hot Press Band of '88, and indeed our own Borderline HMV band finalist competitions in this year as well, 1988. This is Will, lead vocalist and songwriter. How are you, Will? Tell us, how have the competitions helped you at all, or have they?
They have helped us in more or less profile-wise.
Yeah.
Gig-wise, getting gigs and things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
And getting our sound across like that.
Yeah, people have heard you. It's kind of quite an unusual sound. Okay, you've got a bass and drums now, but you know when we had you on last year, you weren't. You were kind of very,
No,
very. It's kind of acoustic and stuff like that.
It
yeah.
is really, yeah. Well, we played for about a year without drums or bass at all.
And did that cause problems?
Well, yeah, yes and no. Well,
Like on a positive side, what was good about it? I mean,
getting better as a musician
Yeah.
as well as guitar. Just having to work with the bare necessities, really, like
yeah,
drums without drums and things like
yeah.
that.
I suppose you got to make things work a lot more as well.
Yeah,
you know,
you have to
because,
work out a lot
yeah,
harder.
Yeah, make the songs happen more.
Yeah.
Listen, before you sing the song, are you playing any gigs around at the moment?
Yeah, we have a residency in the Bagot the 4 Fridays, started last night.
Great.
So we play up there till the 22nd of December.
You got an AIDS band or a rape crisis band?
Yeah, we have 2 of them on the 15th of December. One is in the, what is it? The Wexford Inn, and the other one is in the IFI.
Great stuff. Okay, what's the song you're going to play?
The song's called Forfeit Trials.
Great, Forfeit Trials, the Harvest Ministers. Have a good one.
Said a lot of bad things, but I didn't really mean them. Said a lot of good too, but I must have been mistaken. How can I face you now? How can I face you now? We both had forfeited trials. Had a lot of sad tales, but I didn't really listen. Heard a lot of fast ones, but they're hardly worth a mention. How can I weaken now? How can I weaken now? We both had forfeited trials. I face you now? We both had forfeit trial.
Well done there to Harvest Ministers. Well, just a reminder, you may have seen it on the bulletin board, that next Thursday, the 8th of December, there is the Concern 24-hour fast. Now, anyone can take part all over the country as long as you get somebody to sponsor you. But in Dublin at 10:30 on December the 8th, lots of people from radio, television and the music world will be getting together to fast for Concern, and they'll be in O'Connell Street, including myself. So please go along and support us. Now we have the phone-in quiz results.
Phone-in quiz. What was the answer?
Well, what was the question first?
Well,
the
yeah,
question was, what famous magician presents Whizbits? And now the answer was...
Paul Daniels.
Paul Daniels, yes. Now, one winner is Tom Gately from County Roscommon. Congratulations, Tom. You'll be getting an action pack in the post.
The second one is Jane Lennon from Fina in County Carlow. Well done to you, Jane.
And Jenny Mullen of Bray in County Wicklow, included in the action packs. Bananarama's greatest hit, so enjoy that, okay?
Okay,
right.
Well done to all of you. I think we've time for one more trick. Donald, are you ready?
Better
there?
be a quickie. We finish on a little rhyme. I'll show you now the pictures of 4 gentlemen right here, and each one I can tell you is an expert in his sphere. This one's an ace reporter, and Fleet Street know him well. This one's an ace magician who casts a magic spell. Now watch. This one was a fighter ace way back in World War II, and this one is a tennis ace, and he serves quite a few. You might say, if they're aces, why have I shown you kings? Perhaps I better just explain that you've been seeing things. Because here we have the magic one, the tennis ace for you, ace reporter, and of course the ace from World War II.
Well done.